The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you. The Earth's oceans add up to 71% of the surface of the planet and contain 96% of all the water on this precious blue marble in space. The oceans produce 60% of the oxygen we need to be able to breathe. The oceans are our greatest natural resource, says Lasse Gustovsson, the CEO of OceanWise, and they are at risk due to human activity. According to data collected by the Argo Network, a program utilizing over 4,000 robotic floats that move around the globe riding the currents, they sink to depths of 2,000 meters, rising to the surface, and then beaming back valuable data that scientists are using to monitor the heart of the world's climate system, the ocean. And the ocean is heating up. Gustavsson says the data shows temperatures are up by more than 1 degree Celsius over the past 145 years. The oceans are warming because they absorb more than 90% of excess energy trapped by greenhouse gases. In the process of absorbing that energy, the acidification level of ocean waters is also rising, says Gustavsson. I invited Lasse Gustovsson, the CEO of OceanWise, to join me for a conversation that matters about the vital role our oceans play in our survival, the risks they face, and how we can mitigate those harms. Mr. Gustavsson, welcome.
Thank you so much.
I want to ask you, without being overly dramatic, how bad is it?
It's bad enough to require everybody to do everything they can to prevent an additional harm. But it's not so bad that we can't protect and restore the ocean going forward. The good thing about ocean ecosystem is they bounce back. They have resilience. There are limits to how much we can put pressure on, but it's not too late for action.
From your perspective, what are the three biggest threats that we face right now?
So if you start from a human perspective, overfishing for sure. We've been fishing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
But not overfishing all those thousands.
We've been overfishing for 40 years.
For 40?
Maybe 50 years.
Yeah, maybe.
And overfishing is a technical term for taking too much fish out of the water, more than the fish stocks can replenish. We've lost some of the bigger ones already. But you can see fish stocks bounce back if you leave them alone or you treat them a little bit more gentle. I commissioned a study 10 years ago when I lived in Europe and asked the scientific community a very simple question. How much fish could we have in European waters if we were fishing for maximum sustainable yield, but not more than that? And 15 of the best fisheries biologists in the world said, in short, 10 years from now, you can fish 60% more than you do now, sustainably, meaning forever, if you protect essential fish habitats, if you stop using negative technologies like bottom trawling, and if you set catch limit based on scientific advice, not political compromise. That study hasn't been done in Canada yet, but I'm optimistic that it will be soon because I'm talking to one of the senators who's very interested in this, and I am relatively convinced that similar positive results would come out of a study in Canadian waters.
So did we not stop overfishing off the east coast of Canada a number of years ago, and have we not, to your point, seen a rebound in those fisheries?
It's a bit embarrassing living in Canada and having a son studying marine biology in the Netherlands because the textbook example for how not to do it is the Newfoundland cod. Which were fished to collapse.
You're right.
Now replaced with snow crab. So the ecosystem has what biologists would call flipped. It's a different ecosystem. The cod will not come back. Mm-hmm. The crab is there instead and changing the relations in the food web, if you like.
So our efforts to save the cod haven't worked.
No, but I think the fishermen in Newfoundland are equally happy because they make as good money out of crab fishing as they do out of cod fishing. I don't think that justifies overfishing.
No.
The fact that the ecosystem bounce back or change in a good way, we just need to stop overfishing and rebuild the fish stocks. Globally, there's about 3 billion people who are depending on fish and seafood for more than 20% of their protein. I think that can be almost doubled.
And still be sustainable.
given that we then rebuild fish stocks, we fish more sophisticated or gentle, we're not treating the fish stocks as a resource that can never go away, but we fish and we rebuild the stocks. We used to have much more fish in the oceans than we do today.
The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you. So do we need to rebuild with indigenous stock? Because you talk about the example off of Newfoundland. The indigenous, the cod stock is not coming back. Does that not change the biochemistry in that coastal area off of Newfoundland?
It changes the food web. So who's eating what?
Right.
And
so
cod,
it ripples down the line.
Yes, exactly. Cod eats herring, herring eats cod egg, etc., etc. And they have to keep in mind that there are two kinds of fishing. It's the industrial fishing, big vessels, big resources, and then it's the small-scale fishing. People with small boats, small wallets, and limited opportunities to change the habits. They have one or two buyers of what they catch. And Oceanwise try to work both with the industrial fishing, making recommendations. You've seen the Oceanwise eco-label in your supermarket, fishmonger, or the menu in a restaurant. The last years, we've been also working with small-scale fishers to see how they can fish sustainably, how we can help them get access to better markets so they can get a better price for their work, so they have an incentive to continue to fish sustainably. Early days, Indigenous communities have all the reasons to be skeptical about non-Indigenous Canadians, so we're building trust and we're trying to learn and we're trying to share our own knowledge across Canada.
And what has been the reception to this amongst the smaller fishing entities?
So right now we've been able to find 3 different kind of fisheries in 3 different parts of Canada with 3 different First Nations. It's in the first year, so this is really about getting to know each other, learning from each other, building trust, building knowledge that we share. And we have funding for the next 2 years as well. So hopefully in the next 2 years, we will be able to agree the best way forward for small-scale fishers. And this is important because small-scale fishing is almost 50% of the world's catches. Mm-hmm. So the industrial fleet catches half of the fish. The small-scale fleet fishes the rest of it, and they almost only land 10 kilometers from the coastline.
Right. What's the likelihood of getting those large industrial fishing entities to start to pay attention to this? Or do we have to legislate them?
So I'm super optimistic because only this year there was an international agreement in the World Trade Organization around subsidies. You would think that fishing was a commercial industry. Mm-hmm. It's heavily subsidized in Canada and elsewhere. So
because it's food.
Because by pulling the subsidies for the fleet that is bigger than it has to be for petrol, for engines, etc., we will be able to adjust the fleet to the resource. Mm-hmm. Still to be implemented, but the WTO is one of the few international organizations who's actually got teeth and can put pressure on countries so they actually follow the agreements that they are making.
I can't help that there are a few countries that sort of live outside of the League of Nations in a manner that they go, I don't care what you say, we're going ahead. Is there anything that we can do to put pressure on them?
So I think the best we can do as Canadians is to do it what's good for us. Most of the fish that is eaten in North America is caught in North American waters. There's a lot of trade, but Canada's got a lot of fish in its waters. US got a lot of fish in its water. Between the two of us, even though the relations right now are not the best, we could feed our populations the fish and seafood. We're not anti-trade, but we also know that most of the world's fish is caught in the EEZ, so the economic zone of a country. There's not a lot of fishing in international waters.
Right.
So if you can just control your own waters, that's already a good start.
That's a good start. So we talk about pollution.
So the pollution work that we have in Oceanwise, that we do in Oceanwise, is primarily focused on plastics and 2 kinds of plastics. The microfiber plastics that are pieces of plastics that are 5 millimeters or shorter or smaller. Really hard to see. You can't see it with your own eyes. It's everywhere. We have them everywhere. We have a laboratory in West Vancouver where we do analysis on different waters that we collect. But we also work with the apparel industry. You'll be surprised that one of the main sources of of microfiber plastics is textiles.
Right.
Here we are in Vancouver, raining sideways half of the year. You need a proper coat. And then you've been well taken care of by your mother or father. You need to wash your clothes every now and then. You wash a jacket from one of the big companies that we have here, it emits lots of microfiber plastics into the ocean.
Right.
So we've been working with a coalition of 16 companies, including Arc'teryx and Patagonia, to see how can you create a fabric that is protecting us from cold and protecting us from rain, but doesn't emit as much microfiber plastics when we wash it. So we've made some good progress. Then the next step was we're looking at washing machines, because when you wash, how do you design a program for a washing machine so it washes your clothes, they're clean, but as gentle as possible? And then we invented a filter together with Samsung. So that's now on
You
the
invented
market.
the filter.
Together with Samsung, we invented a filter that we then gave to Samsung, so they put it in their machines. It launched on the European market 2 years ago, and I think it's in North America now.
And what is the impact on output?
So the filter takes away about 70% of the microfibers, which is great.
Significant.
And on top of that, when you program your washing machine the next time, put it on a gentle, maybe it's called wool on your washing machine, it's called gentle, you reduce 70% on top of that. So you can catch almost all the microfibers in the washing or in the design, obviously, in the design and the washing process.
And make sure you put it in the garbage, not down the drain.
So then the question is, what do we do with the length? And we don't know yet. So we keep it on land, because once it's in the ocean, there's no way we can take it back. Now we're looking at dryers. What can we do with dryers? So we'll have a full loop from you make a jacket, you wear a jacket, you wash it, you dry it, and then you dispose it at one point.
So you're improving the life cycle analysis of these clothing items and their environmental impact.
And we do it with the top brands, because they are the ones who are setting up the factories in Indonesia, Vietnam, or wherever our jackets are made. So the big players, H&M and Zara and others, will follow once the technologies has been established.
Well, and by association then, or the fact that they're willing to work with you, does that then also start to improve the environmental conditions under which these products are manufactured?
So we have not touched on that issue at this point in time. We are looking at our eco-label. We're looking at, because fishing is a tough industry.
Yes.
It's also a dirty industry. There's a lot of labor right violations, even slavery. How do we put that into the context when we as an environmental group look at, is this a sustainable stock to fish on?
Yeah.
We're also trying to understand, is there anything we can do to make sure that labor rights and human rights are not violated in the way that they are now. Back to plastic, because the other part of plastic is the big plastic. So we've been cleaning up Canadian beaches for more than 30 years.
And that's where we're talking about discarded bottles and plastic packaging.
Number one, cigarette butts. I've given up on the smokers, because I don't understand why anybody smokes today.
Cigarette butts, plastic?
Cigarette butts filters are plastic. That's number one.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Number two is unidentifiable. So it's been in the ocean so long we don't know what it is. I mean, maybe it's a bucket from a toy, or maybe we don't know. But then it's food wrappers, coffee cups, lids, stirrers. The good news from this year's survey is the straws are gone from our top 10. There's been a lot of discussions around straws and straw sucks. There's been all sorts of campaigns, and they seem to be working. On top 10, we used to have straws. They're now no longer on our top 10 list of things we find on the beaches.
Is that because we have cut back on production of straws?
That's our assumption. We haven't proven that scientifically yet, but we wait for next year's results. So we'll see. It's very likely that because people are not consuming straws in the way we did before, they are not ending up on the beaches in the same amounts as before.
The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you. So I have been led to believe that a large portion of the plastics that are in the water come from water bottles, primarily in third world countries. Is that inaccurate based on what you're telling me, or is that also a concern? And if so, then what are you doing to help to try and mitigate that?
So bottles is on the top 10 list, and especially the caps are an additional complication. So
Right, because they're much more dense.
it's very hard and difficult. No. So what we are doing in terms of changing behaviors is we're helping people to consume less plastics. And we've been talking about this before. What's the root cause of this plastic pollution? And most of it enters into the ocean through Asian rivers.
Yes.
So products that are sold on the Asian market but designed in Europe or North America.
But and I understand that part of the problem with these sources from Asia is that it's sanitation, garbage disposal, which is the biggest issue. Wouldn't necessarily wind up in the ocean if there were proper garbage facilities and the ability to deal with that garbage.
So both waste management, but also hygiene, because the people, if you buy a box of tea bags in Canada, it doesn't automatically come with a single wrapping on every single tea bag.
No, it's on the box. Yeah.
Some do, some don't. In Asia, every single tea bag is wrapped in plastic because of hygiene, because if you don't have clean water, you don't have the kind of clean environments, and a lot of people in Asia don't, you want to make sure that your tea is clean when you can control your own behavior, but you want to make sure that it's protected from other people's bad behavior as well.
And those wrappers get discarded.
Then they end up in the ocean.
Wow. So number 3.
So number 3 is what have we said? Fishing, plastic pollution, whales are in trouble. In a good way in trouble, because whales are coming back in big numbers. You remember that you used to kill whales for the blubbers.
For the oil.
And we used to kill whales for scientific purposes.
Right.
That's going out of fashion. There are still a few countries that are killing whales for scientific reasons.
Right.
But the numbers are not anywhere near what they were. So whales are coming back, and that's of course excellent.
Yeah.
Shipping is going well as well. So the last 10, 15 years, shipping has increased with 300, 400%. What happens now is that the biggest threat to whales is ship collisions.
Right.
In ports primarily. So we've been working here in the port of Vancouver together with the port and a number of other agencies and organizations, and we built what we call the Whale Report Alert System. Mm-hmm. So if you sail into the port of Vancouver, we have hydrophones in the water, we have cameras in the water, we have 8,000 volunteers working on the docks, working on busy ferries, keeping their eyes open, and we have an app for your phone so you can make an observation. That observation is then verified with artificial intelligence, and if this is a whale, great. An automatic message goes to all the mariners 20 miles from that observation. And now they can take the whales into account when they decide how to sail into the harbor. They can stop, busy ferry stops every week for whales. They can take a reroute, they can slow down, or they can run them over, because Oceanwise is a not-for-profit organization. We don't have any authority over the shipping. It's all voluntary. But here, of course, everybody loves whales in Western Canada.
Well, especially orcas.
Especially orcas, for good reasons. We have a small group of orcas that lives here all the time.
Are you talking about the southern resident?
The southern resident. They are loved. Yeah. In Seattle, our Whale Report Alert System is in collaboration with the Coast Guard. So the message goes from the Coast Guard, and if you're a captain or a pilot on a boat, you don't mess with the Coast Guard. So if the Coast Guard says, there's whales in the water, so you better slow down, that's what you do, no?
Right.
I hope we'll get to that in Canada as well. And now we're taking the Whale Report and Alert System globally. So we're negotiating in the Middle East, we're negotiating in Australia, we're negotiating in Europe, and hopefully we'll get the 10 most important ports covered by 2030.
The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you. Do you believe that you can have the kind of impact with so many different jurisdictions, countries around the world, that they are going to be able to collectively agree that we have to work together to protect the oceans? Because to me, that seems to be the biggest challenge.
So this is interesting. So the Sustainable Development Goals, which is this is the roadmap for the world's government agreed within the United Nations system. There's 17 targets. Number 14 is called life underwater. The estimated cost for life underwater to how much do we need to invest on an annual basis to get to the targets that the government has agreed? $172 billion US per year. Guess how much we are actually investing? Less than 3 million.
So I was going to say nothing. Well, in essence, that is nothing.
So big that anybody who believes that government will save the oceans need to think again. Government has a really important role to play, obviously, and legislation is what we're expecting from the governments. I'd love to see less subsidies coming from governments and let markets solve more problems. But in reality, if we can't mobilize the interest and the engagement and the investments from the private sector, we're literally fried.
So those governments are a reflection of the people that put them there. So does that responsibility not fall back on each of us?
So you vote for what you have, what the options that you have. Oceans is not on the top of any party's priority list in Canada or anywhere else. Most countries don't have a minister responsible for oceans.
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
That's good. And we've had 5 since I came to Canada 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's clearly is a post that comes and goes. It's either a training
post. It's not
post.
high up there on the priority list.
It's not the portfolio you want if you're a career politician. It's maybe the portfolio you get when you're on your way up or you get when you're on your way out.
But when I reeled off all those statistics about the importance in the overall climate system that the ocean have, how do we impart upon individuals to start to deliver that message? Because it's only through that collective will. I think Margaret Mead said, it's remarkable what a small group of committed people can achieve.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think there's 3 steps to this. There is building the knowledge, which we're doing in OceanWise, together with scientists and together with First Nations and traditional knowledge. Taking that knowledge and turn it into action by many people. Many people is key here because there's not a politician who will be re-elected unless his or her ideas mobilizes many votes. There's not a businessman or a company who can sell their services or their products if there's not an interest. So building a constituency, what we call OceanWise people, is really important. But then it's the action. So when we reinvented OceanWise 4 years ago, we were looking at what's not happening. So yes, we have negotiations with the governments, great. Yes, we do have protests, great. We have a lot of science, excellent. What do we not have? The practical implementation of what we already know.
By you and me.
By you and me and by anybody else. So OceanWise decided to become the let's do it arm of the ocean conservation ecosystem, if you like.
Well, I think that's a good way to go because it's better than just wagging your finger at others saying you've got to make changes. I think that we collectively have to decide what are the changes that we want to make. We're out of time, and I wanted to talk to you about sharks because they've been there for 400 million years under the water. They've survived mass extinctions on Earth. They are a precious resource as well, but that'll have to be another conversation. Thank you so much for coming in and spending time with me.
Thank you, my pleasure.